Ooh. All right, let's do this again, guys. Round 2. It's amazing what the world create. Well, not what the world, but what people create. Just like, the amount. I just bought 2 apps to use for this that I feel like drastically increase the quality of what I was doing. And honestly, they intuitively do stuff that I didn't even realize that they were going to do. Like one of them already edited out the noise sound in the other one automatically without me having to do anything. It just adjusted the decibel levels to kick out that background noise. It was fantastical, and it once again just makes my life easier, because if I can just keep doing this, then it's more likely that eventually I'll get up to the big leagues with the cameras and stuff. But this is a nice camera, so I'm just going to start with this for now. So, I know what you're thinking. You're like, he's got a drink. That's going to be his timestamp thing. He's going to take a drink of that. Nope. I mean, I'm going to drink this, but it's going to have no relation at all to the timestamps. The timestamp thing is going to be eating these little cocoa dusted almonds, which are like not a lot of sugar on them, to be honest, and they're like roasted almonds. Absolutely delicious. Like eating a more nutritious, larger version of like Cocoa Puffs. Those 2 weren't timestamps. That was just me making a point that they're delicious. Let's jump into things. So, video number 2 for the night. What am I talking about? It's games I got, because that's what the series is going to be until I tell you all of the games that I have. Also, what do you guys think of... Currently, it's games I got. But I'm wondering, should I have been more formal and said games I've got? Like a contraction of I have? Just a thought. Things that I think about, which maybe you don't care about at all. I wouldn't blame you one way or another. But, okay. What is it? Timestamp. It's Dead of Winter. That's what it is. Like, one of my favorite games that I played when I first got into the hobby. One of the kind of first chunky, heavy, narrative, hidden trader experiences that I had. I didn't play Battlestar Galactica. That wasn't something that I did. Here's the back of the box. The back of the Dune box was really just showed you the upgrades, so that wasn't as valuable. But the back of this kind of gives you a really good sense of like what the game is. It kind of gives you the atmosphere and the visuals. But yeah, so the designers of this is Isaac Vega and John Gilmour. John Gilmour has a lot of stuff to his name. Very active on like the Facebook communities and stuff. Super nice guy. Isaac Vega just recently started Rose Gauntlet Entertainment. So he started his own stuff. He's also designed stuff like Neon Gods and some other designs. But both of them are very prolific, very talented designers. And this is, I think it's their only collaboration. I could be mistaken on that. But yeah, this is like probably the most well-known Plaid Hat Games title that I can think of. They've had Abomination that just recently came out. But so yeah, this is Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game, which has been added on to via A Long Night, which is like a expansion, and then you have Warring Colonies, which works with both of those games. So you kind of need both of those to have Warring Colonies, which I didn't realize when I got Warring Colonies, which kind of made it useless to me. But Dead of Winter is fantastic. It's a hidden trader game. It's a survival game. It's a semi-cooperative experience because some people could be a trader or one person could be a trader. So you have hidden objectives that even if you're a good person, you still have objectives that don't actually really align with the desires of the whole group. So everybody, you're always kind of questioning why they're doing what they're doing, because it forces suboptimal play. You can't play optimally if you're also trying to meet your own hidden objective that clashes with maybe what the team is doing. So semi-co-op game, hidden traders. I think my favorite thing about this that is in here, though, is the Crossroads deck, which is involved with me explaining the synopsis. The Crossroads deck, what it does is it creates a narrative intrusion every player turn that invokes a choice that player or the group has to choose. And so it makes every turn unique. You know, instead of just moving with your characters, you have to also adapt and choose based off of something that could possibly happen. You could ignore whatever the crossroads card is, but you could take a risk and maybe be rewarded for it by finding supplies or getting a useful survivor. They always influence the game state each turn, which I love. I don't think enough games have something like that, like the Crossroads deck. It was honestly that, and just my love for some of the mechanics of this is probably why it's still in my collection. But that's getting ahead of myself. So, psych. That's not the timestamp thing. Timestamp. Why I have it? I have this because this was a big popular title that came out when I started getting into the hobby in 2014, 2015, and I added it to my collection and consequently took it to Thanksgiving where my family plays a bunch of games, and I played it with friends here in Little Rock, and we tried to win a lot. We failed a lot. This has got probably one of the most punishing components of any game I've ever played, which is the exposure dice. So anytime you attack a zombie or walk anywhere from location to location, you have to roll the exposure dice. And one of the die results of that, like, 12-sided die or whatever, is an immediate death. It's just that survivor dies. It's a tooth symbol, and it means that, they bit the dust, or a zombie bit them, whichever one you want to interpret, but it means that they die. And then the crappy part about it is if they die, having moved to a location with other survivors, you have to make two choices, or one of two choices. You either immediately kill another survivor and let it end there, like the infection, or you roll. And if you roll a wound at all on that dice, which is like half the dice, that character dies, that survivor dies, and then has the chance to infect the next one. So dying in this game through that exposure dice can create a chain effect, a chain reaction that kills a ton of people. So it's almost in your benefit to auto kill the second person so that you don't run the risk of killing more than that. It's rough. This is a rough game, but man, I had a lot of fun with this. So I have it because it's one of the first cycle of games that existed and that came into my collection. So, and I haven't gotten rid of it because I almost want to play it again to see how I feel about it several years on. It's been a couple of years since I've even attempted to play this, and I'm kind of curious how I feel about it now that my, tastes have matured or shifted or evolved over the course of my time playing board games. But man, I had a lot of fun with this back in the day. I just hardly never won. I didn't really even experience the exile side of it, where you figure out who a traitor is and then kick them out of the colony and they have to go roam the outer locations and can't ever come back to the home base. That's something I didn't even really experience because we died anyways. The traitor didn't really even have to be overt because we would just die anyways. Maybe I played it wrong. Who knows? Maybe I need to go back. But everyone I've talked to has seemed to be the same way, that this is a freaking hard game. When did I get it? Nope. It's still the nuts. It's not the drink. This is only going to have context for people who have watched the other videos. This is the first video they watch. They're going to wonder what the heck I'm doing. But I ate a nut, so timestamp. When did I get it? Like I said, I got it, 2014, 2015, sometime in that time period. It was in the first wave of games that I purchased when I was getting kind of excited and into the hobby. I've been playing board games and card games and stuff for a long time since as I was growing up. But I really personally got into it after college and when I was in graduate school for my creative writing degree. I was, in Little Rock for 3 years, and I'm back here now. But I was there for 3 years, and so during that time, I started getting into board games pretty heavily on my own. But that's when I got it. They're delicious. They're really good. This is the Planners brand, but if you can just find like dark chocolate or chocolate flavored cocoa almonds, you should get in on the trend. I don't know if it's a trend. Maybe we'll make it a trend, but you should get in on it. Will it leave? I already had one, but I'm gonna have another one. Will it leave? Timestamp. Possibly. I could see this leaving. If I play it again and just it seems too stacked against the survivors, I could see it leaving. I don't even have... There's other games like Betrayal at House on the Hill, which I'll talk about at some point, which I have like the organizers for them, like the broken tokens for them, and I have the expansion for it. So I'm a little bit more reticent to get rid of those, even though I probably should call them. I just haven't yet. I don't even have the organizer for this, which comes with a nice little, MDF laser cut first player token. But I don't even have that. It's just, I want to give it another chance before it goes. I want to play it again and see how I feel, 6 years on from when I've really, used to play it a lot more than I do now. It's probably been since 2016, 2017, really, since I've tabled this. Possibly. Maybe it's been that long. Holy cow. So, yeah, I really kind of want to see how I feel about it before it leaves. Would you like it? Timestamp. I think you might like it. If you like Hidden Trader games, this is like one of the classics. If you're like, I love Battlestar Galactica, I like the unfathomable reprint of Battlestar Galactica, which I did not like. Even though I don't own it, I play tested. Did not like it. But if you like Hidden Trader games, I don't know why you wouldn't try this. This is like, to me, the meat and potatoes of Hidden Trader games. I know that around the same time that this was out was Shadows over Camelot, which I got rid of. My brother also got rid of it. I think he said it was broken in a certain way. I don't remember the context in which he said it was mechanically broken, but he felt it was mechanically broken. Yeah, if you like Hidden Trader games, I think this is good. If you like narrative elements in games, the Crossroads deck is so good. Man, I love it. Just as someone who appreciates writing and flavor text and stuff like that, it really did kind of evoke a personalized story or narrative to each game. Just the kind of stuff that would come up in that deck. I really liked it. Man, I enjoyed it. So I think there's definitely the potential for people to still like it. I just don't know. Maybe it won't feel as... Refined is not the right word. That's not a polite word, because this really is a good game. Maybe it just won't feel within the same DNA of games that I currently like and currently appreciate. Like stuff like Dune Imperium, stuff like, Dwellings of Elder Vale. Like those heavier strategy games that take a couple hours to play. I don't know if this fits within that sphere anymore of games that I would like to commit 2 or more hours to. Because sometimes that's what it is. It feels dangerous. Like you're like, oh man, we've been playing for 2.5 hours. We're really close to winning, and then somebody rolled a random exposure and it killed both of the remaining 2 people that dropped our morale down to the critical level, and we lost. And so if that can happen like that at the end of 2 hours, that's a little brutal. And I've talked about this in some community conversations, but yeah, you could very much love this game. You might also find it too hard or unforgiving, or it may just not be your speed. Some people just don't like Hidden Trader games, and I don't necessarily blame you. Rating. I forgot what it's called. Timestamp. That's what it's called. It's called Timestamp. Rating. I think for me, when I was in the beginning of the hobby, I was like, ooh, Dead of Winter is a solid 8.5 out of 10 for me. Like a really, really solid game. And that was really because I had a lack of context for all of the other games that I've played since, and all of the games that mechanically I would probably steer towards now. I just hadn't played enough. But when I first got this was very high for me. It was like, I loved the experience, even though we lost a lot. Now it would probably be a 7 or 7.5. It's dropped since my initial experience because I have a wider field of games to compare it to. And also just based off of what I think I've started to realize about myself as a gamer. I realize what I want more often, and I think that this would drop for me. So I think it's at least a 7, possibly still like a 7.5, because it has some elements to it that I really do love in board games. So it's a solid score, but it has dropped in excitement or passion since I first had it. And then thumbnail. I kind of like what I did with Dune Imperium, where I got out a little piece of the game. I got out the first player marker. Also, I love Dragon Shield Clear. Dragon Shield Clear is my thing. Also, this was back when I was like, every game I got, I took really good care of. Like I would go and laminate these pieces, which I think, if there are games that I really, really care about, then I'm going to continue to do that. But for right now, I like the idea of getting out a game component and kind of ending the thumbnail with a little bit of the game itself. I think that's kind of charming. So, wait. Did I do a timestamp for the thumbnail? I'll do 2 to make up for it. Timestamp. Retrospective. Alright. I wonder if I have stuff in my teeth. I have big teeth that never had braces, so I get food caught in them all the time. Maybe I shouldn't use alcohol as like a mouth cleanser, but whatever. I'll smile with like no teeth. So, boom! Another thumbnail done and dusted. Done and dusted. Man, just getting the box out makes me want to jump back into this. Really does. Really does make me want to jump back into this. I'm gonna make sure I put the box on right. I think that's good. That's good. We did Dune Imperium tonight and Dead of Winter. I may do another one, but if I do, it's going to be later at night. I kind of want to relax for a little bit. Yeah, no. Overall, pleased. So, yeah. If we do any more, you'll see me in the same outfit, because I actually thought about doing a joke where I would change hats, and that would be my, like my set or like costume change, my apparel change between videos, so it looked like I filmed them at different times. I'll have to do that in a later one where I just change hats and nothing else. I should keep something constant in those videos, though, to where the hat changes are very apparent that that's all they are, is just hat changes. Something else would have to be there the whole time. But, all right. Bye.